Great light, the dark is only just beginning to loosen its hold on the sky, and already I am here, eyes barely open, heart reaching for you before my feet have even found the floor. There is something honest about this hour. Before the phone lights up, before the day makes its first demand, before the world remembers my name and all the things it expects of me. Right now, in this small and quiet space, it is only you and me and the sound of my own breath. So I pause. I let this morning be a doorway instead of a deadline. Wherever you are hearing these words, in a car with the engine still warm, in a kitchen with the coffee not yet poured, in a bed you don't quite want to leave, pause with me. Let your shoulders drop an inch. Let your breath come slower than it has all week. This is a morning prayer, and it is for you and it is for me. And it is for anyone who has ever needed a blessed day and wasn't sure how to ask for one. There's a particular kind of silence that only exists this early, before the world has fully turned its volume back on. I don't want to rush past it this morning. I want to sit inside it for a moment, the way you'd sit in a room you love, not because there's anything to do there, but simply because it's good to be there at all. Somewhere out there, the coffee maker is already gurgling in someone's kitchen. Somewhere a child is being gently shaken awake for school. Somewhere a nurse is finishing a long night shift, and somewhere else another one is just beginning hers. The whole world is starting its day in 1,000 different ways at this very moment, and I am one small part of that enormous ordinary miracle. One more person opening their eyes and deciding, again, to try sacred presence. Thank you for the gift of waking. Not everyone was given this morning. Not everyone opened their eyes today. So before I ask you for anything else, I thank you simply for breath, for pulse, for one more sunrise arriving on schedule, whether I deserved it or not. You did not have to give me today. And yet here it is, unearned and undeserved and utterly given anyway, like a gift left on the doorstep before anyone else is even awake to notice it arrived. I know how mornings can start. The mind wakes up faster than the body, already running through the list. The meeting I'm not ready for, the message I still haven't answered, the bill that's due before payday arrives, the argument from last night that never quite got resolved. Some mornings I open my eyes, and the weight is already sitting on my chest before I've even said good morning to the day. The alarm goes off, and it feels less like an invitation and more like an alert, as if the day is already coming for me before I've had a chance to stand up and meet it on my own terms. So here, now before that feeling takes over, I lay it down. Divine, I set before you the tiredness I carried to bed and woke up still carrying. I set before you the worry about money that follows me from my dreams into my coffee cup, the math I keep doing in my head before I've even eaten breakfast, trying to make numbers stretch further than they honestly go. I set before you the strain in a relationship that I don't know how to fix, the harsh word I said or the harsh word said to me, the ache of feeling behind in a life that keeps moving whether I'm ready or not. I set before you the health that worries me, the body that doesn't move the way it used to, the diagnosis I'm still learning to live inside, the fear that creeps in at 3 a.m. and hasn't fully left by sunrise. I set before you the child I'm raising and don't always know how to reach, the parent I'm losing a little more of each visit, the friend who's gone quiet for reasons I can't quite name, the future that feels like fog no matter how hard I squint into it. I set before you the version of myself I keep comparing this morning to, the one who was supposed to have it more together by now, the one who imagined this stage of life would feel less uncertain than it does. I set before you the guilt of unfinished things, the call I should have returned, the apology I owe, the rest I keep promising myself and never actually taking. I set before you the small dread that shows up before certain days even start, the dentist appointment I've put off, the conversation with my boss I've been rehearsing in the shower, the paperwork sitting unopened on the counter because I don't have the energy to face what it might say. I set before you the way exhaustion has started to feel less like a phase and more like a permanent address I've moved into without meaning to. I set before you the noise in my own head, the second guessing, the replaying of things I said yesterday, the imagined arguments with people who don't even know I'm upset with them. I set before you the quiet fear that I'm not doing enough, being enough, becoming enough, fast enough. I hand all of it to you now, not because I've solved it, but because I'm tired of holding it alone. I don't bring you a tidy list this morning. I bring you the real one, the one with the coffee stain and the crossed out lines, the one that doesn't make sense even to me. And I trust that you can hold what I cannot organize. I don't have to have it figured out before I hand it to you. I only have to open my hands palms up and let today's weight land somewhere other than my own two shoulders. Holy Spirit of all things, here is my prayer for today, spoken honestly, spoken plainly, the way I'd talk to someone who already knows my heart and loves me anyway, someone I don't have to perform for or explain myself to. Let me wake up to my life instead of just waking up to my alarm. Let me actually notice this day instead of sleepwalking through the motions of it. Fill me with a patience I don't naturally have, especially for the people closest to me, the ones I love most and forgive least gracefully, the ones who somehow get my shortest temper and my quickest sighs. When they're the very people who deserve my best, grant me the kind of energy that isn't manic or forced, but steady, the quiet strength to do what today asks of me without running myself into the ground to prove I'm capable. Let me measure the day in effort, not exhaustion. Let me carry peace into rooms that are usually full of tension. Let me be the calm voice at the table instead of one more raised one, the steady presence instead of one more person adding to the noise. Guide my words before they leave my mouth today. So often the damage is done in half a second. A sharp reply, an eye roll, a sigh loud enough to be heard across the room. Slow me down enough to choose kindness even when I'm tired, even when I'm right, even when kindness is harder than being right. Source of every good thing, give me eyes to see the good that's already in front of me, the roof over my head however modest, the people who still show up for me however imperfectly, the body that even tired and aching got me out of bed this morning and carried me this far without asking for a single thank you. Let me find something today worth being grateful for before noon even arrives. A small kindness, a task completed, a text from someone I love, sunlight through a window at just the right angle. Teach me to collect these moments instead of letting them slip past unnoticed the way I usually do. I don't ask you to remove every hard thing from today. I know that's not how this works, and honestly, some of my hardest days have taught me things easy days never could. What I ask instead is this: don't let me face the hard things alone. Walk the hallway with me before the difficult conversation. Sit with me in the waiting room. Steady my hands before the meeting where I have to ask for something I need, or say no to something I can't carry, or admit I made a mistake I've been avoiding owning up to. Divine, soften what needs softening in me today. The grudge I've been nursing a little too long. The pride that keeps me from apologizing first. The comparison that steals my joy every time I check my phone and measure my life against someone else's highlight reel. And strengthen what needs strengthening. My resolve to keep going. My faith that this season isn't the whole story. My willingness to try again even after yesterday didn't go the way I hoped it would. Let today hold at least one small, ordinary miracle. A kind word from a stranger. A problem that resolves itself before I have to solve it. A moment of laughter that catches me off guard and reminds me I'm still capable of joy, even in a hard season. I won't demand a big sign. I'll just stay awake enough to notice the small ones. Because I have a feeling you speak more often in small things than in thunder. More often in a stranger's smile than in a burning bush. Great light. Bless the work of my hands today, whatever that work looks like. The job I clock into, the home I keep, the children I raise, the classes I sit through, the search for work I haven't found yet, and am starting to lose hope about. Let the effort I give today matter, even in ways I won't get to see right away. Let me trust that showing up counts, even on the days it doesn't feel like enough. Even on the days no one notices but you. Bless the people I'll cross paths with today, a known and unknown. The cashier who's had a long week, the co-worker who's quietly struggling behind a professional smile, the family member I'm not sure how to talk to anymore, the stranger who might need one kind sentence more than they need anything else I could offer them. Use me if you're willing. As a small piece of someone else's blessed day, let me be gentle with people I know nothing about. Because everyone I meet today is carrying something I can't see. Let me remember, especially in traffic, in long lines, in slow customer service calls, that the person in front of me is not an obstacle. They are someone's whole world to somebody. Let me extend the same grace to strangers that I so badly want extended to me on my worst mornings. Bless my home today, however humble, however imperfect, however far from finished it feels. Bless the walls that hold my family, the table where we eat, however hurried those meals sometimes are. Bless the people who share that space with me, and give me the wisdom to treat my own household with the same patience I so easily extend to guests. If I am raising children, give me the words they need to hear today, especially the ones I forget to say out loud, that they are capable, that they are loved without condition, that today's mistake will not define tomorrow. If I am caring for aging parents, give me tenderness for the small, frustrating moments, and let me remember, they were once young and strong and are only human, the same as me. If I am walking through this morning alone, let me not mistake solitude for abandonment. Let me feel, even in an empty kitchen, that I'm still accompanied by you, and by the quiet love of people who are only a phone call away. Even if I haven't reached out in a while, bless my finances today. Divine, not with more than I need, but with enough to cover what's required. Enough to release a little of the tightness in my chest when I think about money. Enough wisdom to make one good decision today instead of one more anxious one. Teach me the difference between scarcity and truth, because they are not always the same thing, even when they feel identical at 6 in the morning. And sacred presence, watch over the people I love who aren't with me this morning, the ones far away, the ones I've lost touch with, the ones I've lost entirely and still miss more than I let on. Even now, even after all this time, let them feel somehow that they are thought of. Let distance and time and even death not be the last word on love. Give me the courage today to do the thing I've been avoiding, the phone call, the hard conversation, the appointment I keep rescheduling, the truth I haven't told someone I care about. Let me stop waiting for a more convenient day, because I'm starting to understand there may never be one. Let today be brave enough to count for something. Grant me clarity where I've been confused, direction where I've felt stuck, and the humility to ask for help, instead of white-knuckling my way through something I was never meant to carry by myself. Let me remember that needing others isn't weakness, and it's how you built us in the first place. Let me get through the small logistics of this day without losing my temper at the parts that always go sideways and the lost keys, the traffic that wasn't supposed to be there, the email that lands wrong right before a meeting. Let me hold these little frustrations loosely instead of letting them set the tone for everything that follows. Give me a sense of humor about the parts of today that deserve one. Let me not take every single thing so seriously that I forget how to laugh at the ordinary mess of being human. Let joy sneak in sideways uninvited, the way it usually does, in the middle of an errand, in a song on the radio, in something my own kid says that catches me completely off guard. Let me not confuse a hard morning with a ruined day. So many mornings start rough and turn gentle by afternoon if I only let them. Give me the patience to let today unfold, instead of deciding at 7 a.m. how the whole thing is going to go. Help me hold my expectations loosely today. Let me plan and prepare and do my part, and then let me release the rest instead of gripping it so tightly that any small deviation from the plan feels like a crisis. Teach me the freedom of a loosely held day. Grant me the discipline to protect at least one honest moment of rest today. Not collapse, not scrolling, not distraction, but real rest. The kind that actually refills something in me instead of just numbing it for an hour. Teach me that rest is not laziness. It is maintenance for a life you actually want me to keep living well. Help me resist the urge to fill every quiet gap in today with my phone, with noise, with anything that keeps me from actually feeling what I feel. Let me be brave enough to sit with a little silence here and there, trusting that it isn't empty just because it's quiet. If today includes a small celebration, a birthday, an anniversary, a milestone I might otherwise rush past, let me actually notice it instead of letting it blur into the rest of the to-do list. Let me remember that joy deserves my full attention, every bit as much as my problems seem to demand it. Give me patience for the parts of today that require waiting. The slow line, the delayed response, the answer that hasn't come yet no matter how many times I check. Waiting is not wasted time in your hands, even when it feels that way in mine. Teach me to wait well without losing hope in the meantime. Watch over my body today. Let me treat it with some of the patience I so easily offer to other people and so rarely offer to myself. Let me feed it, move it, and rest it the way I would care for someone I loved, because I am someone you love too. Even on the mornings I forget that. Let me forgive myself in advance for whatever mistake today holds, because there will likely be one, and it doesn't have to undo the whole day. Let me learn to fail forward instead of folding inward every time something goes wrong. And when this day tries to overwhelm me, then some days will remind me that I don't have to carry all 24 hours at once. I only have to carry this hour, and then the next one. One breath, one task, one kindness at a time. That's all a day really is. When you break it down small enough to actually hold, teach me to notice the difference between the things that feel urgent and the things that actually are. So much of what presses on me this morning will not matter by next week, and some of what feels small right now, a kind word, a moment of real attention given to someone who needed it, will matter far longer than I realize. Give me the wisdom to spend today on what actually lasts. If there is a decision waiting for me today that I've been putting off, give me either the clarity to make it or the peace to wait a little longer without letting it eat away at me in the meantime. Let me stop treating uncertainty as a personal failure and start treating it as simply part of being human and still figuring things out. Let me be someone today who makes things a little easier for the people around me rather than a little harder, at home, at work, in line at the store, in traffic on the way there. Let my presence be a small relief in someone's day rather than one more thing they have to manage or tiptoe around. Grant me enough humility to say I'm sorry first when I need to, and enough conviction to hold a boundary when I need to do that instead. Help me tell the difference between the two, because I've gotten it backwards more times than I'd like to admit. If grief is part of my mourning today for someone I've lost, for a version of my life that didn't turn out the way I planned, for a chapter that's quietly closing, let me not rush past that feeling just to seem fine. Let me hold grief and hope in the same hands today, because I'm learning they can live together without canceling each other out. Higher power, I trust you with what I cannot control today. The traffic, the weather, the decisions other people will make that affect my plans, the outcomes that were never really mine to guarantee in the first place. I release my grip on needing today to go a certain way, and I open my hands instead to whatever way it actually goes, trusting you're present in both the smooth parts and the difficult ones. Let me not waste this day comparing it to yesterday or bracing for tomorrow. Let me actually live inside these coming hours, awake to them, present in them, grateful for them, instead of rushing through today just to get to whatever comes next. Creator, thank you. Thank you for hearing a prayer this ordinary, this unpolished, this human. Thank you for not requiring perfect words or perfect faith before you listen. I believe you heard every worry I named and every one I couldn't find words for. I believe this morning is already held in a bigger story than the one I can see from here. One with more grace in it than I usually give it credit for. I trust that the strength I'm asking for is already on its way, even if I can't feel it yet. I trust that the patience, the peace, the courage, they don't arrive all at once, but they arrive exactly when the moment calls for them, the way they always somehow have before. Even on days I was sure I wouldn't make it through, I trust that today, like every day before it, will be survivable, and maybe, in its own quiet way, even good. I trust that the things weighing on me this morning will look different by evening, softened a little just by the act of having been carried instead of hidden. I think of all the mornings before this one, The hard ones I was sure I wouldn't get through, and yet here I am, still standing, still breathing, still showing up to pray again. That track record means something. It means the story isn't over, and it means you've been faithful on every single one of those difficult mornings, even the ones I didn't recognize you in until much later. Thank you for the small things I haven't even thanked you for yet today, the working legs that will carry me across a room, the working eyes reading these very words, the mind still sharp enough to worry, which means it's also sharp enough to hope. Thank you for coffee, for sunlight, for the ordinary comfort of a life that, whatever its troubles, still holds far more good than I usually stop to count. Thank you for the people who have stayed, even when I gave them plenty of reasons not to. Thank you for the ones who checked in on me during a hard season and didn't need me to explain myself to deserve their care. Thank you for second chances, the ones you've given me and the ones I've been slowly learning to give myself. Thank you for lessons I didn't want at the time, but wouldn't trade now. Thank you for the closed doors that, looking back, kept me from a life that wasn't actually meant for me. Thank you for timing that never once matched my plans and somehow again and again turned out to be better than what I would have chosen on my own. I trust you with the parts of today I can't yet see coming, the phone call that might change something, the conversation that might shift everything, the ordinary hour that might turn out to matter more than I expect. I don't need to see the whole road today. I only need to trust that you're already standing somewhere further up it, waiting for me to arrive. I am grateful for this pause. I am grateful I stopped long enough to remember I'm not doing this day alone. Whatever waits for me beyond this moment, the good news and the hard news, the easy hours and the heavy ones, I walk into it a little lighter than I was 5 minutes ago, and that is no small thing. That in itself already feels like an answered prayer. So divine, sacred presence, great light, source of all that is good, bless this day before it fully begins. Bless the hours I can already see coming, and the ones that will surprise me. Bless my mind with clarity, my heart with patience, my hands with purpose, and my spirit with a peace that doesn't depend on everything going right. Bless the meals I'll eat today, and the people I'll share them with. Bless the small, unremarkable moments, the drive, the errands, the quiet minutes between tasks, because most of a life is made of exactly those moments, and they deserve blessing too, not just the big ones. Let this be simply a blessed day, not because nothing hard will happen in it, but because I will not be facing it alone. Let it be blessed in the ordinary way that most good days actually are, quietly, steadily, without needing to announce itself. Let this blessing follow me out the door and into the parking lot, onto the train, down the hallway of wherever I'm headed. Let it still be with me at noon when the morning's calm feels far away. Let it still be with me tonight, when I lay this same head down and remember how the day actually went, compared to how afraid I was of it this morning. If today turns out easier than I expect, let me receive it with gratitude instead of suspicion. And if today turns out harder than I hoped, let me receive that too, without believing for one moment that it means you've left me. You have never once left. Not on the good mornings and not on the ones I could barely get through. Bless the ending of this day before it's even begun, so that whenever it comes, whatever it holds, I can lie back down tonight and know I met it the best I honestly could. Let me not measure today by whether it was perfect, but by whether I showed up for it with an open heart. That is enough. That has always been enough. And to anyone listening to this prayer beside me this morning, wherever you are, whatever you're carrying into today that I'll never know about, I hope you feel a little less alone right now than you did 5 minutes ago. I hope whatever hard thing you're walking toward today gets met with more strength than you think you have. I hope this day is kinder to you than you're expecting. And if it isn't, I hope you remember you made it through every hard morning before this one, which means you are far stronger than this particular Tuesday or Monday, or whatever day it happens to be when you're hearing this. Great light, sacred presence divine. However I've called out to you this morning, however this prayer has stumbled or wandered or repeated itself, thank you for receiving it exactly as it was given. honest, unfinished and hopeful anyway. And now, let me rise from this quiet moment and step into my morning carrying that truth with me. I am loved, I am not alone. And this day, whatever it holds is already held. Amen.